So hello and welcome back to the channel. So last video you saw us fit these wheels and I think they look absolutely fantastic. So today we're going to do our final prep for our Le Mans trip, and that's going to be doing a livery on this thing. So let's preface this. I've never wrapped anything other than my keyboard tray and my sim rig, so I've no experience with this. I'm going by YouTube videos. Hopefully this one will help you if you're looking to do it yourself. So this is one of those things that I thought I'd try. Let's find out if we can do it. If we can't, we can't. If we can, we can. First of all, how do you decide what you're going to put on the car? So what I thought is, let's use Gran Turismo 7 again, get the car in the sim, and then see what was possible. Now what I'm going to try and do is try and avoid some of the tricky areas to wrap. So you might say I'm wussing out on this, but I'm just trying to temper my expectations with what I believe I can do. So let's check out what we did. So the idea here was to kind of do a homage to the WRC Yaris, but also the Le Mans hybrid, the GR10, and try and avoid some of the trickier areas to do vinyl wrapping on, and try and catch maybe some of the curves in the car. But as I say, most important thing was to try and avoid the areas that would be hardest, especially around the front grille and any other areas where there would have to be normally an inlay, or you would have to actually take the part of the car. And this was the final render that we came up with. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. So now you've seen the renders, we are here in the sim racing room. Rig is down here, and we can see what we've got. We've got the sleeping beast that is Porsche. Just up there. So what have we got? So first of all, these stickers here, I believe you still need a UK sticker to travel in France, and then these stickers all here are from Stickered Up from Le Mans. They include some driver names at the top, and that's going to be a section of the livery. Vinyl wrapping toolkit, that's just a cheap one off Amazon. Some panel prep cleaner and a heat gun. We picked up some Tegiwa stickers while we was there picking up the wheels, which you would have seen if you click in the top corner. I'll put a link there. And then these decals here are all from Chris, who is a fellow GR Yaris owner. He helped me out sort these out. Really massive thank you to you guys. And then we've actually got the vinyl wrap. So as you can see, got some black and red vinyl wrap. You've seen the render, you've seen the parts, so let's see if we can make this a reality. So you've seen the renders, you've seen the stickers that we're going to do, and I think the easiest place to start is probably the bonnet. So I'm going to try and do this red swathe through here. My hope is I can just use the edge of the vinyl so we don't need to use any knifeless tape, and that we can just line it up on this section here. And what I'm trying to do is avoid the section down on the bumper where it's very hard to wrap. So I kind of just want to do a red section through here. So I've got some G29 panel wipe, and that's just to clean this down so we've got a good bonding surface. Now this is where I found it was a lot more difficult than I first anticipated. This first section took me about an hour, and it was a case of you'd get a section, you think that I'm really happy with that, and then you'd try and move it and all your work would be undone, you'd have to start again. Also, what I'd failed to realise was you can't use the edge as a straight line. Right, so that is the first panel done, and it's taken me over an hour. And it's a lot more difficult than I was expecting. The line is not perfectly dead straight down here because I ended up with way too much tension in this front edge and tension in the rear edge. Again, I'm not sure where to put the tension, how best to get it out. But let's go on to this little piece down here. Hopefully this will be a little bit easier. Section down here was a lot easier to do than the main section, and probably where I should have started. But I have to say, it's something that again, you could get better results if you took the bumper off. That would allow you to wrap it over not just this top edge, but the lower edge, so that closer inspection would prove a better result. I also was very worried about putting a knife through the vinyl and scratching the car, so I was doing most of the cutting away from the car and then trying to tuck the vinyl back in. Right, that bit went a lot better, a lot easier, especially underneath, because if you just put a bit of tension, you can kind of see the gap between the panels, so you know where to put the knife. Tried to line it up as best as I can. So the next bit I think I'm trying to do is going to be this boot section here. I think if we just draw a line down there, we should be able to do this section quite easy. This bit might be a bit more of a challenge. Again, I was starting to get my confidence with the product, kind of knowing what was and wasn't possible, stretching the vinyl more, heating it up and stretching with two hands. The only thing is, again, I was too scared of cutting the actual bodywork of the car, so the actual cut underneath the top there, you can see is quite jaggedy. Right, there we go, there's a rear red section, but we need to match this up with a section here. That's going to be... wow, that's going to be tough. Quite nowhere to... I assume we're going to lay it here and then stretch it into there, but this is tough. It's not perfect, no, by no means, but this is a down and dirty wrap that we're doing on our drive. So for this section, I'm going to try and use knifeless tape to get a straight line, because it was very hard on the bonnet, so I think this will probably be easier. Now, two things worked well here. First of all, using masking tape to mask off the sections that I didn't want the vinyl to stick to really helped, because the vinyl just doesn't like sticking to it. And also, knifeless tape is really good, but you have to have more of an overhang than I think I anticipated, and that would make it easier for cutting through the vinyl. Also, I found if you heated up the vinyl, you could just pierce it with the plastic tool.
How you been anyways, Rennie?
The small parts like this, I really actually enjoyed wrapping, as it was quite therapeutic.
A lot of my friends are down there at the moment, all enjoying it.
They're already there?
Yeah.
Next red bit, we're going to do this front section, so let's try and get that knocked out. At this point, I was starting to get the hang of it, but I was worrying that I wouldn't have enough time to do it. And as you can see again here, I was using knifeless tape, but you really need to overhang more of it to make it easier to grab a hold of and pull back through the vinyl. This is probably the panel that I'm least proud of, but it is near the bottom. It's something that you would rarely see unless you're down there like a tortoise. But you can see I was petrified of getting a knife into the car, so I left a lot of extra room, and as you can see, the bottom cut is not very clean. Right, so that's the front swathe done. I have to say, it came up a little bit short in a couple of areas, and that's just getting to understand what's possible, what's not. And I think if I'd done it again, I would have. It's going to be a lot easier if you take it off all this bumper, so you can really tuck it round. But this is down and dirty DIY on the drive, so I'm happy with what we got. Right, the sun's out, which should help us. So we're going to try and do this black section here. I'm going to try and line it up somewhere. I think it goes across like this. So let's try and do the bonnet, the hard sharp part first. With the sun being out, it definitely did help. The vinyl was a lot warmer and a lot easier to work with. It needed less manipulation. But I was now starting to really worry about the time to get all this done, and especially with some of the harder curves on the upcoming fender, or wing, depending where you're from. So, a bit of an update. So we managed to do this section here. I actually ripped it by overheating it, so that was the second section, so it means we lost a bit of vinyl, so we may have to cut some corners. That went down not too bad after that. This though
this section was hard work. That concave section there, whew, that's some trickiness. I think we're going to probably do a little bit down here. Oh god, I honestly don't know how I'm going to manage it, but we'll give it a shot.
So this section, initially I thought I had it down and it was working well, until I realised A, I forgot the knifeless tape, and B, once you put some tension in it and you put it in the wrong place, it could be really hard to get out. And then across the bottom edge, you'll see in a moment, I actually blew through the vinyl. I stretched it too much with too much heat and put a hole in it. So I thought about it and I thought I'll just try cut it off and then we'll make something of it.
Right, so there's the rear 3/4 done. As you were seeing, we blew through a hole just down here. So I used a bit of knifeless tape and just kind of cut it off, and I put a decal down there or so. It's not the best job. White car, black, very hard. So without taking the bumper off, it's hard to wrap right around those edges. But it should look all right from 6 foot. With the boot closed, kind of looks all kind of cohesive from a distance. So we're going to do the triangles here, but I got 5 meters of knifeless tape thinking that'd be enough, and it definitely wasn't. So I'm gonna drop that idea. We're gonna maybe line up some decals, and I'll maybe spend the extra time maybe tidying up a few areas where I'm a bit short.
Another reason why we had to cut it short is, as you can see, it's already 2 o'clock and we haven't got any of the decals on, and they all had to be lined up. Now I did make a mistake here, as I tried to line them up what was spirit level, which was level to the ground, not realising the car wasn't level. So in the end I ended up lining them up on the actual lines of the car, so that it had a better look. Also remember, I'm leaving for Le Mans in literally 12 hours, so I had to finish these decals, pack the car, get some sleep and get ready to do a long drive down there. Luckily, with some of these decals were pretty big and they were definitely a 2-person job. We started off on the 13 and we got better and better as a team as we went through the rest of the car. At this point the decals are going down quite well and we're moving our way through the livery, but bear in mind everything that we do here we have to copy on the other side, and we haven't even started that, and we're now at 4 o'clock.
Wow, so there we go, we are done. I started at 8:30 and it's 6 o'clock now, so that was a busy day. We could have definitely done it better, knowing what I know now. If I had done it again, I would have A, done it indoors, B, took more off, like bumpers and things like that. That would have made it a lot easier and a lot more cleaner. I would have had more knifeless tape, that made a big difference. But for something that I've done on the drive in half a day. It'll end perfect by no means, but it's a bit of fun. We'll hopefully have a good drive down to Le Mans tonight. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like it, or you got any tips for me for next time, put that in the comments below. But if you don't like it, you don't like the way it looks, give it a thumbs down. That's perfectly fine. Just put it in the comments how I could do it better. And as always, till next time, see you then. Bye.